Hey everybody, I'm back with another video, and this video covers a little bit more material than the last one. But before I get into that, I want to address something that I forgot about in the previous video. When Zoro was tied up, he um, remembered back to a promise that he made to an old friend, and he cannot die until he's made that promise to his friend, which that friend of his was also has died. I will address that in an upcoming video. I won't go in more detail, but that was shown in the manga, and it was briefly shown in the anime on the, I think, second episode. Uh, I made some better notes this time, so hopefully this turns out better, and this doesn't turn out as long. Even though this arc is technically longer than the previous one. Luffy's past was treated as a flashback where we met Shanks and the red hair pirates, and before that, Luffy met recruited Zoro, and Kobe joined the Marines. Now, shortly after that, we get introduced officially now to Nami, who tricks three members of a pirate crew. Yeah, three members of a pirate crew, and steals their boat. And we cut to her running later after she's stolen the chart of the Grand Line. Now, this is where my notes are going to come in handy. Because, heck, I almost forgot to mention the manga. Everything that was done in the previous arc was written in 1997. And for the anime, it was done in 1999. And for the dub, the uncut dub, I'm not going to mention anything other than the uncut dub. The uncut dub was done in 2008. So that's a 9-year difference for the Japanese version and the English version. And we keep that trend here in Orangetown. Now, as I stated, I made some notes, so I will be referring to my notes. I hope you don't mind. Okay. Luffy ends up falling after getting caught by a bird because he and Zoro were going to eat this bird. And I don't know how Luffy did it. It's just mind blowing. But he got carried off by the bird with his head in the a bird's mouth. So the bird just dragged Luffy all the way down, and Luffy ends up in Orangetown, which is where Nami happened to be. And she's running from the buggy pirates. And Luffy ends up having to fight these guys because Nami sets him up. And before I get too far into that, I'm just gonna take a little break here and tell you what I got here. This is all content for the Orangetown arc, the end of this one, the entirety of this one, and I think about the beginning of this one. Yeah, about a third of this one is Orangetown. And for the anime, if you just want the anime, it's right here. If you're gonna buy it, again, it's the same as the previous one. And some of this content is also covered here. I'll probably get to that in its own video. And this is an Amazon exclusive. It's all right here. Also right there. So all that, those last three things I just showed you, all that's the anime. Now, as I was saying, Luffy ends up having to deal with these pirates that are part of Buggy's crew. And one of them ends up being dumb and just happens to grab his hat, and Luffy gets upset a little bit, and he tells, "Oh yeah, actually you get knocked off his head," and he just yells at the guy and says, "Don't touch it! Don't touch my hat!" After Luffy defeats these guys, Nami takes Luffy to a house that she's staying at and treats him to some food because he's hungry. And it's at this point, let's see here, Nami reveals that she's trying to collect 100 million berries for a reason that she does not explain. And that she stole a map of the Grand Line from Buggy, so she can finish collecting that 100 million that she still needs. So then Nami gets an idea to use Luffy, and she ties him up and presents him to Buggy and uses him as I guess maybe as an exchange to get on Buggy's good graces, and returns the map to him. And she does this in hopes of stealing more Buggy's treasure and stealing the map again. And Buggy ends up actually testing Nami's new loyalty to him, and has her blow Luffy away with a buggy ball. And the buggy ball, he's already shown the power of what this could do. It has obliterated so many houses and in its path. I'm not really sure how many it took out, but it took out a lot. So she ends up having to be forced to do it, but another member of Buggy's crew ends up grabbing the matches from her, because she's hesitating and she can't do this because she realizes if she does do it, and she's no better than the pirates, but if she doesn't, then she's going to be killed. So it's a lose-lose for her at this point. It's losing morality or losing for her life. She actually knocks out one of the pirates who actually tries to jump ahead and steals the matches and light the fuse for the cannon. It's here that she reveals that pirates killed someone that she loves, and she would never want to sink them down to their level. She would never want to become one of them. So this does not make Buggy at all happy, and he tells his men to kill her and Luffy, who is locked up. And Nami's prepared to die pretty much at this point. She's thinking there's no way out, and Zoro appears right in the nick of time and blocks their attacks. And he also briefly fights against Buggy. That Buggy reveals his chop chop powers. And basically what that means, whenever he's cut, he can reassemble himself. So if you cut him in half, it's from halfway horizontally, his top half will just hover in the air, and he can just reattach. So Buggy actually catches Zoro off guard and hits him in the back, left, and the blade goes all the way through, and oh god! And this is where you know that Zoro has stamina to be able to withstand that, because any normal person would either collapse from the pain, or they would just straight up die, depending on the person. So Zoro takes a quick opportunity to get them off guard and turns the cannon towards them and has Nami to light the fuse, and they launch a buggy ball at them, and this gives them a chance to escape, and they run away. And this is also like a very badass moment for Zoro. It's just awesome with with his determination. He grabs the cage that Luffy's in, which is attached to the ground of this, to the roof of this building that they're on top of, and he pulls it up, and he just like a badass moment, he just lifts up, and even with his injury, you know that Zoro's a tough dude. Zoro's tough. So he carries Luffy in the cage, which this is made of concrete, so this is heavy. But Zoro handles it. Well, it's not easy for Zoro, but he manages to do it. If nothing else, it's a good workout, especially with his handicap. They stop in front of this pet shop, which is being guarded by the dog named Shushu. And Nami decides to give Luffy a key. And Luffy's about to take the key, but Shushu comes up and eats the key. I don't know why. I guess he didn't want. And by the way, Shushu is a dog. I don't know if I stated that, but he eats. He swallows the key. Maybe it's because he didn't trust Luffy. He didn't want him to get out, or he's just a dumb dog. And well, I mean, the point is he devours the key, which blows Luffy's chances to get out with an easy method. I guess even a dog has a backstory, and 3 months ago, up until 3 months ago, he's watching. He's staying with this owner of the pet shop. I guess he's just the pet, and then that pet shop owner, he gets sick, and I guess he's going to go to the doctor or something, and I guess at some point he ends up dying, and he just never comes back. So for 3 months, at least that's what's revealed in the anime. Can't remember if the manga or anything else states more than that, but I'm going with what I heard in the anime. So for 3 months, he's been guarding the shop, and Luffy realizes that this shop is this dog's treasure, and Luffy treats his own hat as his treasure. So Luffy relates to the dog on this level at this point. The whole backstory of the dog was revealed from the mayor of the town. So, right after all this information is revealed, Moji comes up and attacks and smashes the cage that Luffy's in. And fortunately for Luffy, he's able to just bounce right out and he's freed. But he gets knocked away at first. And Moji just beats Shushu down and destroys the shop. And his lion, Richie, just eats all the food that was in there. And at this point, Luffy comes back, sees the shop burning. And Luffy's pissed. He is pissed at this point. So he goes out. He goes to fight and he defeats Moji and Richie and takes the food back from them that's still left. Just one box of, I think it's just a box of dog food. And returns back with it and gives it to Shushu and sets the box and sets it in front of him. And Nami realizes that Luffy did all that just for the dog. And Nami starts to form a better opinion of Luffy because up to this point, she's hated all pirates. Because, as I stated earlier, the pirates are responsible for killing someone that she loved. So she thought that Luffy was no different. And here she is shown to be wrong because of what. So she actually smiles actually for the first time. It's the first real smile that she's ever shown at this point, because before every smile she's had was manipulative. Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot to mention this. What happened to Zoro? At this point, he decided to go sleep off his wound. He just going to sleep it off. So at this point in time, he was just napping this throughout all this exchange that's been going on. But he finally wakes up after the mayor reveals that he spent 40 years to build the town to build Orangetown and will not let it be destroyed as it's been up to this point. So Boodle, I think that's the mayor's name. Boodle. That's yeah, Boodle is his name. Weird name, I guess. He goes off to challenge Buggy, and Luffy takes a liking to him uh, because he's, as I stated before, and I'll probably say this again a couple times. He probably gets sick of it by this point. Luffy respects people who can stand up for themselves. Zoro ends up fighting Kabaji, who is a swordsman who rides on a unicycle. I think I got that right. And one thing about Zoro, if he sees any swordsman at all, regardless of how good they are, he's got to fight him. So he steps up and fights him, and we see that Kabaji fights dirty because he's always going after Zoro's injury that was inflicted by Buggy earlier. And I gotta say that is dirty. That is dirty as hell. Buggy's actually gonna keep Zoro from moving and let Kabaji land a devastating blow on him, possibly a fatal blow. And Luffy sees this, and he steps in, and because Luffy's not gonna have any of this, so he fights Buggy himself, and during their scuffle, his hat gets damaged. It gets like nicked like right over here or something, and he is furious. He's just going, damage my hat. So Ed, he ends up losing a hold of it for a second, and Buggy actually takes advantage of his chop powers, and since like has his hand go flying and hits with blades right through the top of it right here. I'm showing you this because just so you can get a good image of what he's done. And at this point, we learned that Buggy has had a past with Shanks. Buggy was on the same crew with Shanks as Apprentice Pirates. So let's see here, and we actually see a flashback of them arguing about which is colder between North Pole or South Pole. I think Buggy was saying the North Pole was colder, and Shanks was saying the South Pole was colder. Or if it was reversed, I'll put that in a caption in the video. But anyways, and then this other guy breaks up their argument. We don't really know who this guy is because his name is not addressed, but they call him Sir. And since they don't call him Captain, and they specifically say Sir, I can only assume that he's definitely like the highest status on the ship. And he's most likely the first mate. So Buggy ends up getting the hands of the chop chop fruit, and ends up accidentally eating it because originally he wasn't going to intentionally eat it, but Shanks kind of catches him by surprise. So so Buggy just shoves it in his mouth and swallows the whole thing entirely. Which that's kind of. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't just choke on it. That would been probably kind of funny, honestly. But he manages to just swallow the entire thing whole. So we cut to the present time again, and Buggy actually sees Nami trying to get away with his treasure, and he's about to go after her and kill her, and this is this is the funniest part. Luffy actually, since a part of Buggy is still going pretty slow, it's actually his feet. He ends up taking off his the shoes and does a bunch of does like tickling and pinching and pulling on the skin of the feet, and we get a bunch of different reactions from Buggy and Nami. It's just hilarious at this point, and I was actually just watching it before I was doing this video. I forgot about that scene completely, and that was that was funny. So so Buggy gets like enough of this at this point and decides to reassemble himself because he's all in different pieces, and we always see him like he's like all chibi Buggy. Just picture this guy, yeah, him. This is Buggy. Picture him all chibi, and it's the funniest thing ever. And Buggy, he didn't even notice that he wasn't whole. He was just saying, "Aha! I am free. Take that." And he's shocked that he, as I said, he's all miniature. And Nami actually has all the rest of his parts tied up in a rope. Now I don't know how the heck Nami got her hands on the rest of Buggy's body before they could reassemble like that, but that's good timing for her. And so Luffy is kind of amused by this, and he just decides to land one final blow and sends Buggy flying. And after all this, Nami decides to join up with Luffy, and she says that she does so, saying that it benefits her. So she obviously had an ulterior motive right here at this point. And they end up actually escaping the town, and Shushu actually they're actually running away from townspeople who actually show up, and they believe that Luffy is responsible for this, which makes me wonder because Buggy should have been around for a very long time. So this is where I draw a question. Didn't those town people see Buggy at all? I mean, I find that hard to believe that they wouldn't, because I'm pretty sure Buggy was there for more than a day. I mean, I guess it's possible he's only been there for just recently, but they were all out of the town, like for protection and stuff. So they knew that something was going on. But anyways, Shushu ends up protecting Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, and gives them a chance to escape. And then, well, they set off to sea. And Luffy left the treasure that Nami had grabbed. And they go off to their next destination. Will be Syrup Village. Now, up to the end of Orangetown, we are now just the Orangetown arc by itself. That covers 1.17% of the story, and everything from the beginning of the series to the end of Orangetown, that is 1.75%. So we're still less than 2% of the entire story, if we're going by based off of 1,200 chapters for the manga. Now, the next arc is a bit longer. In fact, all the arcs after this is pretty much longer. There's one short arc, but I'll get to that when I get to that. The next arc is pretty much the same length as the entire series up to this point. So, next arc doubles what we have right now. Oh, well, almost doubles. Just off by like one chapter. Or is it? It's off by one or two chapters. It goes from chapters 22. Yeah, it's off by two chapters. It goes 22 to 41, so that's 20 chapters. So yeah, up to this point, up to this is 21, and episode 8 for the anime. So I'm gonna stop right here. I'm going to have a bit of silence for a couple minutes for the timeline that I will be showing. I will have one just for the information of this arc, and I will have information for the entire story up to this whole point. So I'll just leave it off right there. I will see you in Syrup Village. If you like this video, leave a like. I would like to get this discussion going. I would like to have this a real discussion so I can get like feedback and I can get people talking. Then I could probably address some comments that people might have. And I'm not going to talk about anything beyond what I'll be talking about in each arc discussions. If you want to know what's going on for this current arc, I won't say that in these current discussion videos. I will make that a separate video. So try to keep your questions. If you got questions, keep them to what is relevant to what I'm talking about. So with that, like the comment. Like the video. Like the comment. Yeah, you totally like the comment. Well, you could. Like the video, comment, so we can get this rolling, and subscribe if you haven't. And now, I will just close out right here. And here's just a couple minutes of just quiet. And you'll just see the timeline for now. See you later.
Wealth, fame, power. Gold Roger, the king of the pirates, attained this and everything else the world had to offer. And his dying words drove countless souls to the seas.
You want my treasure? You can have it. I left everything I gathered together in one place. Now you just have to find it.
These words lured men to the Grand Line in pursuit of dreams greater than they'd ever dared to imagine. This is the time known as the Great Pirate Era.
Come aboard and bring along all your hopes and dreams. Together we will find everything that we're looking for.